Imagine standing on the banks of the mighty Nile over 5,000 years ago, a time when Egypt was not yet a single, unified kingdom, but rather two separate lands. Upper Egypt in the south, with its white crown, and Lower Egypt in the north, wearing the red crown. The story of how these two lands became one is a tale steeped in mystery, power struggles, and an ambitious ruler who dared to dream of a united Egypt. A man known to history as Narmer, or perhaps more famously, Menes. But who was Narmer? What role did he play in shaping the course of ancient Egyptian civilization? And why does his name still echo through the millennia? As we dive into the world of Narmer, let's go beyond the dry facts and see the world as it was when he first took his steps toward greatness. To understand Narmer, we must first understand the world he was born into. Egypt, around 3100 BCE, was a land divided not just by the geography of the Nile but also by its politics and culture. Upper Egypt, in the south, stretched from modern-day Aswan to the area near Cairo, while Lower Egypt, the Delta region, spanned the fertile plains and marshes. Each of these regions had its distinct rulers, gods, and traditions. It was a time of constant tension and rivalry. Two lands separated by the lifeline that was the Nile, each vying for supremacy over the other. Narmer emerged from this fragmented backdrop, a powerful leader from Upper Egypt. His rise to prominence is shrouded in myth and legend. Some say he was a warrior king who saw an opportunity in the ongoing conflicts between the two lands. A man with the vision and might to unite Upper and Lower Egypt under a single crown. The unification of Egypt was no small feat. It required more than just military strength. It demanded strategic alliances, careful diplomacy, and a deep understanding of the divided culture. Narmer would have known that if he were to succeed, he would need to appeal to the people of both regions, gaining their trust and loyalty. One of the most fascinating pieces of evidence about Narmer's role in Egypt's unification comes from an artifact known as the Narmer Palette. Discovered in Hierakonpolis, the ancient religious and political capital of Upper Egypt, this carved siltstone palette is often considered one of the earliest historical documents in the world. The palette depicts Narmer wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt on one side and the red crown of Lower Egypt on the other. The message is clear. Narmer is shown as a king of both lands, suggesting he played a crucial role in bringing them together. But it isn't just the crowns that tell us this story. It's the imagery around them. On one side of the palette, Narmer is depicted with a mace, striking down an enemy, a symbol of his military might and his ability to conquer. On the other, he is shown wearing the red crown, presiding over a group of defeated foes, underscoring his authority and dominance over both Upper and Lower Egypt. This powerful imagery conveys a story of unification achieved through strength and strategic leadership. Yet, while the Narmer Palette suggests he was the first ruler of a united Egypt, it does not reveal the full complexity of his reign or the precise details of how he achieved this monumental feat. What we do know is that Narmer was a ruler of great ambition and foresight. He may have realized that military conquest alone would not suffice to maintain control over such a vast and diverse kingdom. To truly unify Egypt, he needed to create a sense of shared identity among its people, an identity that transcended the historical divides between Upper and Lower Egypt. This is where Narmer's brilliance as a leader shines through. He adopted symbols, rituals, and even gods from both regions, weaving them together into a cohesive whole that became the foundation of ancient Egyptian culture for millennia. Narmer's name appears on various relics and inscriptions throughout Egypt, suggesting that he was not only accepted, but revered across the newly unified kingdom. He is believed to have established his capital at Memphis, strategically located near the boundary between Upper and Lower Egypt. This location served as a symbolic bridge between the two lands, reinforcing the unity of his rule. Memphis would become one of the most important cities in ancient Egypt, serving as a political, economic, and cultural hub for centuries to come. But Narmer's legacy doesn't end with his political achievements. According to some traditions, he also introduced key aspects of the Egyptian state, such as the administrative system that would be used by his successors to govern the vast lands under their control. The introduction of writing, specifically hieroglyphs, began during this period, allowing for the recording of laws, decrees, and events that would shape Egypt's future. Through these innovations, Narmer laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most remarkable civilizations in human history. Of course, with all stories from such a distant past, there is a blend of fact and myth. Some ancient sources refer to Narmer as Menes, while others treat Menes as a separate figure who came after him. The truth is still debated among historians and Egyptologists, but what remains indisputable is that Narmer played a foundational role in the history of Egypt's monarchy. Whether he is the same as Menes or a separate individual, Narmer's impact on the history of Egypt is undeniable. He was the harbinger of a new era, an era that saw the rise of Pharaonic Egypt, characterized by monumental architecture, centralized government, and a pantheon of gods that would captivate imaginations for millennia. To better appreciate Narmer's achievements, we must consider the cultural and symbolic significance of his unification efforts. By bringing together the two lands, Narmer didn't just change political boundaries, he altered the very identity of Egypt itself. His rule marked the beginning of the concept of kingship that would define Pharaonic Egypt for the next 3 millennia. He positioned himself not merely as a ruler, but as a divine figure chosen by the gods, embodying both the earthly and celestial realms. This dual nature of kingship became a core tenet of ancient Egyptian ideology, influencing everything from religious practices to statecraft. The unification of Egypt also had profound economic implications. Before Narmer, trade between Upper and Lower Egypt was likely limited by regional rivalries and competition. Under a single ruler, however, trade routes could be expanded and secured, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultural practices. This economic growth allowed for the construction of monumental architecture, such as temples and palaces, which would become hallmarks of Egyptian civilization. By centralizing authority, Narmer could also standardize weights, measures, and currency, further enhancing Egypt's economic cohesion and strength. Narmer's military conquests were not limited to the borders of Egypt. Historical records suggest that he may have engaged in military campaigns beyond Egypt's borders, extending his influence into the regions of Canaan and Nubia. These campaigns would have served multiple purposes: securing trade routes, acquiring resources, and asserting Egypt's dominance on the international stage. By demonstrating his power and reach, Narmer was able to project an image of a united and formidable Egypt to neighboring civilizations, laying the groundwork for future pharaohs to build upon. As the founder of Egypt's first dynasty, Narmer's legacy would extend far beyond his lifetime. He established a model of kingship that future rulers would emulate, a model based on the principles of divine authority, military strength, and cultural unity. The symbols he adopted, such as the double crown, combining the white crown of Upper Egypt and the red crown of Lower Egypt, became lasting emblems of Egyptian royalty. Even the name of Egypt itself, Kemet, meaning the Black Land, referred to the fertile soil along the Nile, a unifying feature that Narmer skillfully leveraged in his quest for consolidation. Today, Narmer's story continues to captivate historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts of ancient history. His reign is a reminder of how a single leader, through a combination of vision, strategy, and might, can shape the destiny of a nation. The tale of Narmer is more than just a chapter in Egyptian history. It is the foundation upon which an entire civilization was built. A civilization that would endure for thousands of years, influencing countless cultures across time and space. And so, Narmer stands at the dawn of Egyptian history, a figure of mystery and legend. His name, etched into the stones of time, reminds us that even in the ancient world, the power to unite and the vision to create something greater than oneself could change the course of history forever. The story of Narmer is a testament to human ambition, the desire for unity, and the impact a single individual can have on shaping the destiny of an entire people. If you enjoyed this journey through time and want to learn more about the ancient figures who shaped our world, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Historical Highway, for more fascinating stories from the past.